stay. I'm here to stay.
We kept one of League One's hottest forward lines quiet on Tuesday night, but today it doesn't get any easier. Plymouth Argyle, they're second, going for automatic promotion, and they also boast the best home league record in all 4 divisions of English football. Played 16, won 14, drawn 1, lost 1. As I say, today will not be easy. However, let's not forget that we put in a 5-star display against the Pilgrims back in August, and Plymouth shipped 5 again last weekend when they headed to Peterborough. On top of that, their near-perfect home league record was also blemished in their last game in Devon, as they were held to a goalless draw by Fleetwood Town. Lots to get through ahead of kick-off at Home Park. Here's a little taster of what's to come. As always, we'll hear from manager Dean Holden, who spoke to Terry Smith shortly after arriving in the West Country early this afternoon. We'll be speaking live to former addict Andy Petterson, all the way from Bali in Indonesia, about his best Charlton memories and a current first-team star who he helped bring to the club. And we'll hear from defender Lucas Ness, who it's fair to say has gone from young prospect to one of the first names on the team sheet in recent weeks. Charlton TV spoke to him yesterday. Delighted to say Curbs and Brownie, the A-team, alongside me. Listen, lots to get through, actually, before we even start talking about football, to be honest with you. So let's start from today and work backwards, shall we? Brownie, how's the tooth?
Didn't get done.
Didn't get done?
No, I got booked in next Friday. Yeah.
Why?
Complications.
OK. we'll leave that one at that one. Curbs, we had a social on Thursday, didn't we? It was you, me, Rob Lee, and then someone turned up a few hours later.
4 hours late.
Yeah.
4 hours late.
I wasn't late.
But just made it.
I tell you what, it was a challenge.
But you know what the best thing about
You'd
it is?
have gone home.
No.
You probably wouldn't have gone
The
home.
best thing about
He'd
it
have
is
definitely gone home.
He turned up for an hour, but he had to put his money in.
He timed it just as we were leaving the first place to go on to the second place, didn't we? So we didn't have to put anything in. It's a good day out there, wasn't it?
Always good. Yeah.
Some good stories.
Yeah.
Robert Lee and Bobby Robson was a funny one.
Yeah, it's the best one. We'll tell it one day.
We'll have to get Rob on again soon sometime. And then there's Tuesday, of course. I know Michael Kern did a really good job hosting for me, but did you miss me at all?
Always. Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Kurt's not answering that one. But you also
I was
played golf.
I was too cold. I can't remember.
It was proper cold. Yeah, you could tell you weren't here because no one did anything for us.
And the final one as well. You played golf before then, didn't you? Who won?
Yeah.
You
No,
two.
it was a tie.
Tie.
Yeah. He came out of the blocks absolutely. He came out of the blocks. Curbs came out of the blocks. Firing on all cylinders.
The last hole.
Last pen, was it?
Last hole. Birdied the last hole.
Did he?
He blew a calf after about 12.
Was he stretching after a few holes? But your knee lasted.
Only just. Tablets. Wonderful thing.
Tablets, they're working. Let's talk about today's game, shall we? Or at least sort of in the vicinity of. You used to like the trips down to Devon, didn't you?
Yeah. I mean, it was a fantastic week we used to have down there, didn't we?
Yeah, it really was.
We stayed at Nigel. I said it before.
Pre-season.
Pre-season. So we'd stay at Nigel Mansell's hotel, who's obviously the racing driver, who had like a museum underneath the hotel with his cars and the things he'd won and everything else. But we'd go down there, play Plymouth, Exeter, Torquay, have a week there, and it meant that every player perhaps got 90 minutes out of the 3 games, and then you had a break in between, play on a Monday night, train Tuesday, play Wednesday, train Thursday, play Friday, come home. So it was a fantastic week. Bit of golf, lads used to enjoy it.
There was the odd cheeky night out there as well. You allowed us a night
Oh, well, yeah. But I had Mervyn at the door, Mervyn and Keith at the door, waiting for them to come in.
You had the coach in the high street down the town. If you didn't make the coach, you got fined.
Yeah.
Right, coach pick you up at 11.
Make sure you're on it.
I don't think you're allowed to go out nowadays, are you? So, yeah.
Too many phones.
Pros and cons, exactly, and social media and everything. What were you like on the longer trips, Brownie? How was the knee on the long trip? Was it all right?
Well, in the early part of my career, I used to, because Carl Leeburn had the back seat, didn't he? He had the 5 to himself. And no one really challenged Carlo on that. He just laid out 6'4", right
Got on
across
there
the
first
back.
and laid out.
And I went underneath on the floor, just laid out on the floor. So that was my early years until I learned how to play hearts. And then once I learned how to play hearts with Nelson, Gats, and all that lot, that was the trip done because it's a great little game and you don't even know.
And then later on in your career, you flew.
Yeah, no traffic in the sky, as they used to say.
Robbo used to shout, and every time he shout it out, Merv got me.
You have to hold him back.
Oh no, he held me back. 'Cause,
Honestly, we get onto one of the motorways and you just see red lights on a Friday afternoon. We were starting to travel and you just heard it, didn't you, from the back? No traffic in the sky. Eventually he got his way.
Well, they didn't fly down this time. And just a final one then, when we'll look at Tuesday's highlights a little bit later on, but how important was it that we stopped the run of many defeats?
Yeah, I think we'd be disappointed because they went down to 10 men and we didn't take advantage of it, but it's not always easy to do that. But we once again went to a team that's in great form, fighting to try and get in the playoffs themselves.
Scored 5 against Plymouth.
Yeah, so you take the draw before the game, I think, but because they went down to 10 men, it's a little bit disappointing. But I think we found ourselves short again, really, against the Sheffield Wednesdays and the Boltons and etc. The teams that are up there, we are short.
I totally agree. I think that the big boys that we've played have told us exactly what it takes to be
today.
a top 2
maybe
or top
today
6
as well.
side.
Yeah, maybe
we'll find out
today
today as well. Okay, lots to get through as ever. Let's hear from the gaffer, Dean Holden, who spoke to Terry Smith a little bit earlier.
Dean, here at Home Park, and you've made one change to the starting lineup from the side that faced Peterborough in the week with Scott Fraser dropping out. You mentioned in the presser on Thursday that he was touch and go and obviously didn't make it.
Yeah, it's an enforced change. Unfortunately with Scotty, he's been sort of nursing a niggle with his hip really for probably since the Forest Green game, and it's just got progressively worse to the point where he was just too sore this week. So we're hoping a week's rest will help him and hopefully be okay. It's nothing too serious, but it's just been sort of continuous pain that he's been feeling, both when he strikes the ball and when he runs. So obviously that's not great. So no, we've left him at home, and Gavin comes in.
Okay, and also on the bench, you're bringing in Daniel Kanu. Just rewards for him bagging 20 goals now in the under-20s this season. So just deserves for and he'll be itching to get on there, won't he?
And we've just shown him his goal from the cup game this season. It was just prior to me coming in. It was one of the first things that I saw. I watched that game back, and he's one of a few youngsters that I'm really excited about. So you're right, he absolutely deserves it. He's been working hard. Both in terms of improving his game, and obviously his attitude's excellent, and whenever he comes up with the first team, he's been a big smile on his face, loves to be there, just wants to soak it all in. So no, he'll be a big weapon from the bench if we need him today.
Formation-wise, it's pretty much the same as Tuesday night. So, are you looking to impose yourself on the game and the team to impose themselves on Plymouth from the get-go, like we did against Peterborough? Yeah,
that's absolutely the game plan. I think we've shown in that first hour the other night that a good team we can be when we play to our strengths. And we give opposition problems in terms of not just passing the ball around, but making sure we're getting behind them and hurt and penetrate. And obviously when we get in there, we just need that little bit of finish at the end of it. That was all that was missing the other night. So no, I was pleased with many aspects of that performance, certainly while they had 11 men. And yeah, we go again today. As I say, Gav comes in for Scotty.
Cheers, Dean. Good luck.
Yeah, so just the one change then from the Peterborough game. That is enforced. Scott Fraser not right with the hip injury. Gavin Kilkenny comes in. Curbs, what do you think? And are you liking the new system?
Well, I think it surprised us all Tuesday night the way that Dean went. When Peterborough had their players sent off, we then changed and sort of went 4-3-3 with the 2 wide men, Masaki and Corey Blackett, and we looked quite dangerous. I thought he might have ended up that way, but obviously he's been having a look at this in training. He had a good week before the Peterborough game, etc. So, yeah, we're having another look at it. I just worry about the goals. Masaki is the top scorer. What, we're 9, is it? So that's not a great total, is it? I think.
It's a bit more worrying than that as well.
Yeah.
You've got him on 9, and then Payne's next on 2 league goals with Innis. That's it.
Yeah.
So goals across the team is a big problem. Three games without a goal is where the issue is, and you're going to the team with the best home record in the league. So it's a tough old fixture. It didn't really pan out like that the other night either, did it, Curbs?
No.
I would have said Payne almost dropped into the top of a diamond in the centre there, and Bond was isolated on his own. So it wasn't a front 2 without any shadow of a doubt. But yeah, most of our goals, behind Raksaki is sat on the bench, unfortunately.
What do you think of Jez's position there?
Yeah, I think we've discussed this, and he's certainly not as strong in there as he is out on the wing when he's running at players. He's more comfortable when he's backing a full-back up and taking him on, and he's especially dangerous when he's backing him up in the penalty area, and he doesn't get those opportunities playing from there. So it's a tough one for him. He's making the adjustments, but I don't feel like he's as dangerous when he's in that position.
We was talking about this on Tuesday, that look, we still don't know Dean's position at the club. Is it he's got a contract till the end of the season, or is it going to be extending, whatever? But this is the time when you look at things like this. You know, he's looking at a different shape. He's looking at players playing in different positions. He's put Carno on the bench, quite right. You know, I hope he gets on, because I think we'd all like to see him. And he, you know, if Dean knew where Effie was at for next season, etc., then he's quite entitled to, you know, where we are at the moment. We're not going to go up, we're not going to go down, you know. So let's have a look at some of these players. Let's have a look at a different formation. So I'm quite happy with that, you know. And if it was me, I'll be doing exactly the same thing.
Yeah. I mean, I was going to ask you, actually, so you've answered the question. Don't read my mind too often, though, Curbs, will you? You don't want to go there. But, you know, the question was going to be, at what point does he say we're not going up, we won't go down? Do we plan for next season? And therefore, someone like Jez, who, he's not going to be at Charlton next season, is he? But we want him playing because he's our leading goal scorer and most dangerous threat at the moment.
But also, he could have a look at just playing 2 centre-backs. You know, what 2 would you play? You know, he's obviously, if he want to go 4-4-2 or 4-3-3 or whatever, what one plays? Because Hector's come in and looks quite comfortable. Innes is obviously established. The boy Ness is coming on leaps and bounds. Yeah. But if he wants to go with a 2 next year, this might make his mind up, you know, by seeing all these playing. So, yeah, it's not so much experimenting, but I said it before. I would have gone to Richard Murray and gone, listen, I'm going to change it. I'm going to do this. I'm going to throw some kids in. Results are not important, but at the moment, results are for Dean, because he still don't know where he is. And you know, the sooner that gets sorted out, the better, so he can experiment with a bit of confidence.
Yeah.
What are you laughing at?
I'm not laughing. No, I'm not smiling because it's a real complex situation, I think. So I don't think he might not even be planning for next season. He might be thinking about right now. Yeah. Right now he needs results as a manager because he has no idea where he's going to be.
Jacko was in a very similar position last year where he felt he couldn't plan for next season. Yeah. He had to think about the here and now.
So as a manager, you strengthen now, which is getting as many results as you can, because he's still on the market as such in the summer. It's a tough one.
It's the other side of it as well.
I guess the only thing I can equate it to is when you didn't get your required signings. You went in when you didn't get them, and you went, all right. Yeah. I've had nothing.
Yeah, but
it's similar.
I'm just looking at the goalkeeping situation because I don't think Dean's seen Joe Woolacott.
Yeah.
Right. So would he put him in to say, right, I'm happy with the 2 keepers?
Yeah.
Or do I?
He has to plan for next year, doesn't he? He has to in his head.
Let's park this for right now. We'll have more time afterwards as well, definitely, because obviously we've got lots to get into, and you two just keep on talking all the time.
We're behind again.
Always behind, but that's a good thing. Don't worry. League table, we are top.
Don't show that. What do we want to look at that?
We've got to show the facts. The positive thing is we're top of the bottom half.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll leave it there.
We'll take that.
We moved up to 13th following Tuesday's stalemate at Peterborough. Lincoln moved up 1 place in midweek, drawing at home to MK Dons, who remained 3rd bottom, and Cheltenham stay in a precarious position just above the relegation zone after losing to Derby Tuesday night. Just 6 points separate Burton in 18th and Cambridge in 23rd. Look at the top half now. Derby moved up to 5th with that win over Cheltenham, and now only 2 points are behind Bolton in 4th with 3 games in hand. They're playing at the moment at Morecambe in the early kick-off. Portsmouth remained 10th with that win, but did close the gap to the top to 6 points. Peterborough went from 9th to 8th following our goalless draw. And let's go with Bolton there, shall we? I mean, many fans say Bolton the best team we've faced this season, but you know, how big a blow was that? Do they feel that they can still catch the top 2, or the points behind plus the games played makes it difficult for them?
Yeah, played a lot of games, haven't they?
Yeah, and you know what?
I'm surprised the league's allowed that.
To get them stretched so far ahead. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's quite a way, isn't it? Yeah, I mean, there's 5 games on Barnsley. I mean, that's incredible. Yeah. But what I would say about Bolton is, you know, you hear. I've seen a couple of comments about, you know, Derby were nowhere near a patch on Bolton. It doesn't matter, you know, honestly, all those guys in the top, say, 8 that are going, well, realistically, you could go down to Shrewsbury, couldn't you? But they're not worried about how they're playing. It's hard enough getting a result each week and being consistent. They're just trying to churn out win after win after win to stay in the hunt. So I don't understand when people go, you know, Bolton are the best footballing side, you know, Derby weren't a patch. They were a patch because they won it in second gear.
Derby were very good.
Yeah, and they didn't get out of second gear. Sheffield got the job done. We played very well second half, actually. I thought we gave them a little bit of a test, but they got the job done because they had the maturity and experience, and you know, and they saw out the game as you'd expect, you know, sort of champions to do.
Yeah. Bolton waking up this morning, by the way, had only played 35 games. They played in the early kick-off. It was 0-0. It ended at Morecambe. So that's why they played an extra game, but still they've played more than most. Let's have a look at the full fixture list in League One. As I say, it was 0-0 between Morecambe and Bolton in the end. Accrington, who we take on next at the Valley, face a relegation 6-pointer against basement club Forest Green. Probably must win for Forest Green and probably for Accrington as well, really. Third place Ipswich, should be hoping that we do them a favour, take on Burton at Portman Road. Charlie Kirk and Sam Lavelle could well feature in that one. Oxford start the post-Carl Robinson era with an away fixture at Lincoln, while league leaders Sheffield Wednesday welcome Peterborough to Hillsborough. Curbs, question for you. In fact, I'll throw this to Brownie as well. Lincoln have only won 3 home games all season, but guess how many they've lost?
None.
You know. Oh. All right.
Sorry, I jumped the gun again.
Smart, Alex.
No, you looked at me just a fraction too late. It had already left my mouth.
To be fair,
I apologise, sorry.
I did bring you in, and that shows how hard you prep. I've got to say, so well done there. That's incredible, though, isn't it? Played 16, 3 wins, 13 draws, and no defeats. Yeah. Mad. Games stand out for you today?
I'm looking at Sheffield Wednesday. I thought Sheffield Wednesday. Professional, strong, experienced. I can't see anyone catching them really, and I think they'll get a result today against Peterborough, who are desperate to get in the top 6. They'll be hoping that we can do them a favour.
Yeah, I thought Sheffield Wednesday did exactly what they needed to do last week. Very good in the first half and defended well in the second. Okay, let's take a break from today, shall we, and get to club news updates now. We'll start with ticketing news. The 2 home league games to come this month. First, we host Accrington Stanley Saturday, March the 11th. Then we take on Wycombe Wanderers Saturday, March the 25th. Tickets for both matches can be purchased by visiting booking.cafc.co.uk. And season ticket holders are also reminded that they can bring a friend to the Wycombe match completely free of charge. Head to cafc.co.uk for more information on how to redeem your free ticket. And you can get tickets for all of our home fixtures in April as well right now. Everyone at Charlton TV would like to extend their congratulations to young defender Charlie Barker, who was named in last week's Vanarama National League Team of the Week for his performance for Wealdstone against Woking last Saturday. One Elliot Lee in there as well. Charlie is enjoying a fruitful spell at Wealdstone, who are currently 11th in the division. He'll be hoping to feature for them again this afternoon when they host Altrincham. Fellow youngsters Mac Riley and Sahid Kamara both started Corinthian Casuals' goalless draw against Canvey Island on Saturday, while goalkeeper Nathan Harvey and forward Dylan Gavin made debuts for Chatham Town and Dulwich Hamlet respectively this past weekend. On Tuesday nights, Harvey saved a penalty to help Chatham progress to the semi-finals of the Kent Senior Cup, so a big well done to him too. Croy Anderson was an unused substitute for Aldershot last Saturday at Barnet, and would like to wish all of our Academy starlets the best of luck in their respective matches today, and of course our senior players who are out on loan too. OK, well, Charlton's under-21s made it back-to-back victories in Professional Development League 2 South on Tuesday by winning away at Cardiff City. After a goalless first 74 minutes, Henry Ryler broke the deadlock when he confidently turned home Richard Chin's low cross from a tight angle. And the result was then made safe in the 94th minute when seconds after, well, it says seconds after here, but it almost feels like minutes after seeing Cardiff hit the post. The Addicts countered and Daniel Kanu fired home from 12 yards. Have to say, big well done to Danny Sender's side, who have also played Ipswich yesterday, where they drew 1-1. And the positive news from that is Manny Egbo got 60 minutes under his belt. But that was well worth the wait for that finish, wasn't it? The Charlton women's team are back in action tomorrow at the Valley when they welcome Southampton to SE7 in the Barclays Women's Championship. The Saints are currently 3rd in the league, 2 places and 4 points above the Addicts, though they have played 2 games more than us. A crucial game for Karen Hills' side, and you can support them by getting your tickets now. Tickets are priced at £10 each for adults, £5 for concessions, and you can get yours from booking.cafc.co.uk. Well, the club have joined forces with partner University of Greenwich to host a couple of Her Game 2 themed match days at the Valley next week as part of a club objective to get more women and girls attending Charlton matches. As we just mentioned, the Charlton women's first team host Southampton at the Valley tomorrow, and next Saturday, that is March the 11th, the men's team take on Accrington Stanley in League One. Currently, just over 14% of men's first team season ticket holders are female. That goes up to 25% for the women's first team season ticket holders. The club have set up a Her Game 2 working group with supporters and staff meeting every 1 to 2 months to look at opportunities to tackle sexist abuse in football, promote equality and make games at the Valley more attractive to women and girls. And finally, we have selected our 4 contenders for February's Player of the Month award. We've picked Corey Blackett-Taylor, who scored in our wins over Exeter and Forest Green, Jez Ragsaki with stunning goals against Exeter and Fleetwood and his assist against Forest Green, as well as Ashley Maynard-Brewer and Lucas Ness for helping us to keep clean sheets during the month. And I should also add that Lucas claimed a great assist against Exeter as well. Quickly, chaps, before we move on, who would you go for?
That was sprung on us a little bit, wasn't it?
Well, you don't actually have to give us a specific answer, but you just say.
Yeah, I think I'd have to go with one of the back two. I think either Ashley or Ness, because that was a tough run of fixtures there, and to keep a couple of clean sheets is no thankful task. So I'll probably go with Lucas. I think he's probably deserved an accolade or two along the way this season.
Lucas, for me. I think...
No messing about with that one, was there?
No, Ashley's done great, and obviously the 2 strikers scoring goals, but I just for him to come in, I'm not too sure what pecking order he's in with Dean, but he probably is number 1 at the moment. Yeah. He's been so assured, and for a youngster. We should talk more a little bit about him a little bit later, but for the records, I'd go Lucas as well. OK, I'll tell you what we do love doing. We love going international on Charlton TV, and we could rival Hunty's most exotic place here, because we are delighted to say on Charlton TV, it is all the way from Bali, Indonesia. A warm welcome to Andy Petterson. Andy, how are you?
Very, very well, guys. How are you doing?
We're very, very good, thank you. First of all, look, my cousin has lived in Bali for the last 12 years. Let me tell you, he ain't coming back. Is that where you're living right now? Is that where you're based?
Yeah, pretty much. I've got a job at the moment in the Indian Super League, so our season only finished last week, so I'm back for a few weeks before the Super Cup. But yeah, I've been living in Bali for about 3 or 4 years now. I've been working in Indonesia since about 2018, so Bali is not a bad place to live. You know, it's 10:30 at night here, and it's 28 degrees.
You look like you're still sunbathing at the moment as well, Pets.
Yeah. The face is a bit red, but what can you do, mate?
Listen, we'd all be there, don't you worry. But apart from maybe Brownie, actually, he probably stays down.
Back to 50.
Let's rewind the clock back, shall we, to 1994 when you joined Charlton. What are your memories of joining us?
Yeah, it's a long time ago, obviously, but I'd had about 6 years at Luton, and you know, my contract was coming to an end. I knew Charlton were interested. I remember meeting Curbs and Gritty at the time at a hotel in Waltham Abbey. Agreed a 2-year deal, and you know, the rest is history, so they say.
Yeah, Curbs, Brownie, tell us what Pets was like in the dressing room.
Well, I'd like to hear a story or two.
No, I can't. There's a couple of good ones on holiday, actually, at the end of the season function. But again, it's like Stewie on the weekend. What happens on those trips stays on those trips. It's the same. You can't just let out every story to everybody.
We can't see if Andy's going red because he's so brown.
No. Listen, it was a good trip. It was one of those weird ones, right? They were opening a bar in Cyprus called Starsky and Hutch. And we were bowling down the street. It was me, Keith Jones, Brighty, Samsey, and we were walking down, and Huggy Bear, the actual Huggy Bear, was coming the other way, bowling down the street. And he was over there, been paid to open up Starsky and Hutch.
That's a good story.
Can Andy remember
one
I
cool dude.
I do remember that, Browning, of course.
Yeah.
You know, Obviously, I don't remember you ever going sunbathing during the day like the rest of the boys, but I do remember the nights as well. Well, the early parts of the nights anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, look, we're going to fast forward 4 seasons to May 1999. A must-win game at Aston Villa. It's currently 3-3, and then this happens. Okay, hopefully you can see it.
Yes, I can see it. Yes, I've seen it many a time. Look, I got a red card, but look, Richard Rufus is there covering me. You know, in modern football, surely that was not a goal-scoring opportunity, and a yellow card would have been warranted.
But my next question is, did you have faith in your understudy after the red card came out?
Yeah, Brownie had a good reputation of being a standing keeper. He's got a keeper's build as well, so yeah, there was no problems with him coming into goal.
Brownie, talk us through it as if you haven't for many years.
Well, I'm a bit gutted for Andy that his entire career they've shown the sending off. He's made some tremendous saves. Any chance of a couple of decent saves from Petters?
We've got to make it about you as well, Brownie, and then don't worry, we'll see some nice stuff as well.
Yeah,
what did Brownie say after the game to you? Did he say anything, Pets?
Did you have your own gloves?
No, they were Andy's gloves.
Andy's gloves.
Yeah. They were my gloves. Yeah, I actually can't remember. I remember giving a big hug, obviously. To go on and win that game in the last minute was a bit of a roller coaster game, left, right, and centre. But for that to happen and for Brownie to go in and technically keep a clean sheet, you know.
Another one, by the way, another one.
He was just having to get his appearance money.
Absolutely.
I probably bought him a few.
I wasn't going to get it.
I probably bought him a few beers and Iron Appa.
Say that again, Andy.
I probably bought him a few beers and Iron Appa for that.
Yeah, I'm sure you did. Let's talk about it. Fair play to you, Brandy, for remembering that, because there is a much nicer highlight in that game as well, where you do make a brilliant save. I mean, Brownie, no way would have got anywhere near that, would he?
I've got to have a look at it. Yeah, you know, Brownie would never have even seen that. Yeah, definitely.
I'd have held that.
I'll take the credit on that one, but it's. I hope you don't keep showing, because I think they actually score from the corner, so that's another issue.
No, that's it, mate. We're stopping there. Tell us how much you enjoyed the chapter of your life here at Charlton.
Yeah, it's one of those, isn't it? You know, when you're at the club, I got on well with the staff, the players, the fans. Obviously, I had the honour of winning Player of the Year in '97. But it's one of those, until you actually leave, you don't realise how good a club Charlton is as well. And you know, I'll always have fond memories, and probably throughout my career, that was probably the best part of my career.
OK, let's fast forward again to what, about 7 or 8 years ago, where 14-year-old keeper, young lad, by the name of Ashley Maynard Brewer, arrived at our training ground. Tell us about the part that you played in bringing Ash to Charlton.
Well, Ash was at a club where I was, among any things, I was a player, assistant coach, goalkeeper coach, and then I became technical director. And Ash was at about the age of 12, came to our recognition. It was an upstanding junior, and basically I was good friends with his father as well. And basically I was doing 2, 3, maybe 4 sessions a week with Ash as a kid, and had no doubts that he would make it to professional football. He had the desire, the will, and the thing was, even at 12, 13 years of age, you were hitting balls at him like you would hit at senior goalkeepers, and he had no issues at all with that. So, you know, I had no hesitation in recommending him to Charlton, and look where he is now.
Yeah, have you managed to sort of watch his rise, and how good do you think he could be?
I think Ash can go all the way. I think Ash will play Premier League football at some point. Fingers crossed, it will be at Charlton. It might take a few years to get there. But, you know, he could be at Charlton. It could be a number one for 10 years. But I've been watching, you know, obviously from when he was playing under 21s to on loan at non-league, and then the Scottish Premier League, and obviously watching him now in League One with the first team, which is great. And the strange thing is today, obviously, they're down at Plymouth, and his father was on the supporters coach going down there today to watch. So Jason will be at the game again today to support him.
Brilliant. Kurs, Brady, what does it tell us about Pets as a guy as well, that 15 years or so after leaving the club, he's wanting to help Charlton still?
No, and seeing the boy at a really early age and having that confidence in him. And I think the fact that the boys come over, like, you know, I don't understand the family side of it, but for him to actually come over and say, right, I want to be a professional footballer, I'm going to live in digs and whatever I'm going to do, great effort from him. And he's grabbed his chance.
Yeah, I think there's nothing more fulfilling actually as a coach, from Andy's perspective. When you pick a youngster, you get a chance to coach them, and you get an opportunity to put them somewhere, and they actually fulfil that potential for you because you've recommended, and then they go on and prove you right. It's actually quite fulfilling, and there's always an element of what you teach them that, you know, they take on board and it stays with them. And you know, I've had that a couple of times from my youth coaching, and it is really fulfilling when you go on and see them have a career.
Andy, great stuff. Thank you so much for your time. Look, you're going to invite us out to Bali for the next one? Are you going to at least be on the beach the next time we invite you so we can be even more jealous of where you are?
Hey boys, not a problem. You invite me on, or I'll invite you here. You can come anytime. I'll sort you out, and no doubt I'll buy you a bucket of beers.
Oh, mate, we look forward to that. Thank you very much. I was invited to a wedding in Bali next month, actually, but in the end, we're going to Thailand. So I would have come out and seen you and had a few beers with you, I promise. But another time, mate. Thank you.
Not a problem, Scotty. Not a problem.
Brilliant. Absolutely fantastic, isn't it? Good to see him. And he's looking well, I have to say. Looking really well. So we should leave it in Bali.
Didn't get into how he ended up out there, did we? How did he end up out there in the first place?
Yeah, no, he said it.
Just went out there?
Yeah, coaching. He's doing some coaching out there. OK, we will move on now. Lucas Ness, talking of youngsters coming through and doing really well, he's been superb so far, hasn't he? And helped us keep, a second clean sheet in 3 away games now. And Charlton TV caught up with him yesterday.
Lucas, I want to start by reading a quote back to you that you gave to us after you signed your new 2-year contract back in the summer, where you said, "I feel privileged that the club have put their faith in me to give me a new 2-year deal, and hopefully I can repay them in the coming seasons by getting into that first team." You've obviously gone and done that, so how does that feel?
Yeah, no, it's amazing. So I set that target, sort of hoping it would be achieved within my contract, which was initially 2 years with an extension, and you know, to see that I've done it within the first 6 months, or you know, leading up to the first season, is yeah, it's definitely something I can be proud of, and hopefully I can push on and keep my spot.
You've been in and around the first team and in the starting 11 for a little while now. When did you sense that you might be edging closer, or was it all quite sudden?
Well, it all came about really quickly, to be honest, because obviously I got recalled from Torquay at the end of November, and that was when Ben Garner was still the manager, and I was sort of expecting to sort of be a rotation player and not really get many chances. But ever since Dean Holden's come in, you know, he's put his faith in me, and yeah, I think I might have started every game, to be honest. So that's something to be really proud of, and yeah, I'm very thankful towards the coaching staff for that. Yeah.
Now you obviously hit that target. Did you quickly set yourself another one? Like, how important is it for you as a young player that you don't dwell and think, oh brilliant, I'm in the first team now? How important is it that you identify something else and then push towards that?
Yeah, no, it's really important, but the games come around so thick and fast. Like, it's sort of, you don't have an awful lot of time to reflect on you know, how far I've come. So I'm just taking it game by game. And as for a new target, I just want to keep my spot and keep playing and keep getting experience, keep improving.
When do you think that time for reflection will come, or will it come?
I think probably at the end of the season, you know, I'll sit down and have a look back at you know, what I've achieved, and sort of how far I've come in this season, how far I've developed, and then yeah, we can go from there.
So at the moment you're playing alongside Ryan Innes, who physically is probably one of the best out there in terms of going and winning the ball and being aggressive, and also Michael Hector, who's been there and done it and played in more footballing sides, I suppose. As someone for you who, if you don't mind me saying, is probably a bit in between the two of those, how helpful is that for you to learn from people who are older than you and who have real strengths in both sides of the game defensively?
No, it's really helpful. Like you said, they've both got their sort of outstanding qualities. Ryan's very aggressive, which we know, and that's definitely something I need to work on. Playing against, you know, fully grown men every week is tough because they're a lot stronger probably, and definitely a lot smarter than me. So to work alongside Ryan Innes is good for me to see how he deals with those sort of players. And then, like you said, Michael Hector's more like of a ball playing centre half. You know, he's very composed on the ball. He's very good with his feet, and that's, you know, another part of the game that, you know, I can always improve on. So to be working alongside those two is really helpful.
When you've come in and you've stayed in, and it has gone pretty quickly. I mean, how have you found that step up from sort of 21s to senior? You know, I've had a couple of loans, so that step up has definitely, you know, been made a lot easier by those loans. But yeah, it's just a lot more physical, and like I said before, like the players are a lot smarter. Like the positions they pick up, like with their movement, and sometimes, like even off the ball, like, you know, how they use their bodies and stuff. It makes it a lot harder, but it's definitely something that I'm adapting to, and I'm always learning. And those experiences, there have been so many of them in such a short space of time, haven't there? As well as the league games, you've obviously gone to Old Trafford and played. How do you, or are you someone who makes sure that you try and soak everything up? Yeah,
I mean, in the moment it's hard because obviously you're just focusing on the game. But for example, the Old Trafford game, I think it took a couple of days to really sink in what had happened. You know, such a big stadium, a big occasion. It sort of almost didn't feel real at the time. So yeah, it takes a while for those sort of things to sink in, and, you know, you can sit back and actually think, wow, like I actually did that.
And Plymouth to come on Saturday. We were just saying off camera, I think they've had 16 league home games, 14 home wins. It's going to be another tough one, but I guess you're looking forward to it.
Yeah, you know, it'll be another test, especially at their place. We know it's not going to be an easy game, but we've sort of got nothing to lose now, so we'll go there and hopefully put in a good performance and see what we can get from it.
And just lastly, for you personally, what are you hoping to get out of these last 13 games of the season?
Just more experience, to be honest, and I just want to keep improving, and a few more clean sheets, and hopefully a goal or two will help, yeah.
You know, one of the things that strikes me there is he's only a young lad. He's only just turned 21, but he doesn't just play with maturity, but he speaks with maturity as well, doesn't he?
Yeah. No, listen, I've been singing his praises ever since he got into the side, because he's come in for a youngster, looks as if he's been there for seasons. And as I said, at the moment, the way he's playing, if Dean wanted to go to a 2, it'd be him and one of the others. Yeah. That's the way he's been playing. But no, I mean, it's another youngster that's come through. We've seen this with Miles and one or two others. You know, the academy, you know, must be thinking, great, we've got another one in there, which is what it's all about. And, you know, hopefully, with this running, Kanu will get a couple of games so we can see him. That's what it's all about now for me.
I think he's getting quite close to Miles as being our best youngster at the club, the way he's putting in consistent performance. Was it only end of November that he was playing National League?
Yeah. And he got sort of pulled back and didn't think he was going to be starting every week. And it's that sink or swim moment we talk about. You get thrown in for a game, performance means you can't lose the shirt. And that's what Lucas has done. I don't really recall a game, which is quite unusual for a 21-year-old, where we've gone, he's hit the brick wall here. He hasn't. No. He's played every minute. No. He just steams through it. He's performing on that, you know, a 7 minimum every week.
So what would
rarely comes off of that.
You're someone who obviously loves defending and even the tactical side of it as well. I mean, we all do. But what would your advice to him be?
Well, my advice to him would be just to concentrate on exactly the here and now, because I think what happens when you're young and you break in like he has is a bit of attention. I got a bit of attention early on. It soon disappeared, but I got it early on. And then you've got agents in the background, you've got contracts to be discussed. No doubt there'll be contractual talks. And my advice to Lucas is don't worry about any of that. Let everyone else sort that out. Just concentrate on your football. Whatever you're doing preparation-wise, however you are preparing for the games mentally and physically, keep doing the same thing. Because all that stuff will sort itself out based on your performances. He's done terrific up to now. And you're the one that brought this into play. Don't be here, don't be here. Just be here.
Yeah. I just think that looking at him, and in that interview, he was basically saying the physical side. Well, he looks a proper physical specimen, doesn't he? Yeah. But he kept on about the physical side, and he's going to have a tough afternoon today as well in terms of the physicality.
He helped us keep a clean sheet on Tuesday, didn't he? Let's have a look back at the Peterborough highlights. What did you think, chaps, of when it was 11v11? Were we the better side?
Yeah, I'll put it this way. I was really disappointed in Peterborough after beating Plymouth and beating Morecambe comfortably. I think 4-0 and 5-2. I was disappointed in them as an attacking side.
Was that down to us at all?
Yeah, I think there was a bit of that in it, yeah, 100%. I think we need a bit of credit for stifling them. But I would say that was the only shot on target in the first 45 minutes. That header right there. So however, much people might think we were all right in the first half and we may have dominated possession and we may have dominated chances, we didn't actually hit the target, which is becoming a bit of an issue for us at the moment.
It certainly is. So then with the red card itself, I don't know how Jez stayed on. I thought it was the worst out of the two, to be totally honest with you. Jack Payne getting involved a couple of times, a few chances.
Yeah. I think Dean came out and said we had some half chances, but not one of them hit the target. I think George had an opportunity, I think, where it popped down to him and it got blazed over. So this is the sending off. I mean, look at that.
That apparently was a push.
I've got to be honest with you, I thought Jez was a red and Knights was a yellow. I didn't think it was a stamp, but I know you probably think both deserved a red. But I think we all agreed that we got away with that one. So what didn't we do to win the game with an extra man? Because we did create some chances, didn't we?
Yeah, we did everything bar score. I mean, that's a good block. And the thing is with that block, I think the keeper has it covered anyway. But we have little moments like that, don't we, Curbs, where we have a half chance. I think George Dobson has a strike that he blazes over. That should go across the keeper if you can. Curl it towards the keeper's left-hand post if you can. And we just didn't have the right composure or the right finish at the right time. Or, if you take the first half, it's just come back to me actually what happened in the first half, balls bounced in the middle of the 6-yard box where people at the front, people at the back, no one arriving. Everything's got to be perfect for you to score the goal, and we just didn't get it right. Either that was the finish or the timing of the run.
OK, let's have a look at both sets of teams, shall we? Not just ourselves, but Plymouth as well. We talked earlier about how strong they are. Well, played 16, won 14 and lost just 1 in there. Got some very good players, Brownie, haven't they? But made changes today. Yeah,
I mean, in terms of, having a little wobble, I guess this is a little wobble for them. A draw and a loss. They're going to have to bounce back today. They're fully expecting to win this one, and there's a little bit of pressure on them because they'll be feeling the heat from the teams underneath.
And also what happened last season where they had a wobble.
Where they fell off. So the pressure's going to be mounting, and he's made quite a few changes. And we've said many times on here, stability normally is the key to, consistent results. And I think he's having a little bit of a wobble, But
pressure, a little bit of pressure.
Yeah, a little bit. But they've used the loan system incredibly well. You hear sometimes people say, we've got too many loan players, they don't care about the club. Well, they've loaned 5 or 6. And they performed very, very well from this year. In fact, a big blow. They lost, I can't recall the lad's name for the time being, Morgan Whittaker. They lost him back to Swansea and he'd scored 10 goals this year.
To be fair to him, it's another sleeping giant in some respects. When they came here, they sold it out, didn't they? They sold 3,500 tickets and they get well supported. They've got a nice stadium. We've got a bit of a test on today. And
pitch looks lovely.
Yeah, as Bernie said, these are the sort of places you want to come and play, innit? You want to go out and show that you can match it and do it with the best. And at the moment, Plymouth are up there with the best.
Jack Payne earned a praise from a few people from the other night. What did you agree with that? And it's a great opportunity for him, whereas his Charlton career, like others as well, hasn't really kick-started yet.
I think with Fraser out today, he's going to have to step up and be that number 10 or be that person who's going to get in the box. And I think that's what he likes to do. I'm quite impressed with him, but I don't think he's had in recent months a decent run at it. So perhaps he might get a run now.
He shows moments without actually being consistent, doesn't he?
Yeah, well, he has to find pockets of space, because when you get him in possession in a bit of space, he can create without any shadow of a doubt. He's got a decent little bit of vision and he's got the technique to pull off the pass with it. But it's when he's not in the game. That's the issue, I think, for Jack. When he's in it, he's bright and he's lively.
So, Curbs, what are you expecting from us today? I mean, I'd snap your hand off for a draw right now, to be honest with you.
Yeah, obviously. But I just think that perhaps on Tuesday night we never really took advantage when we got into the final third. And, in all fairness, in the second half when we went with the 2 wide men playing normal, Corey Blackett and Vasaki in their normal positions, we looked a lot more dangerous. So I'm still trying to be won over by this shape and this system.
Yeah, and the players are probably still getting used to it.
Yeah, no, I'd bite your arm off at the elbow for a point.
Yeah. Let go of my arm, please. Let go of my arm right now. By the way, the only hat-trick scored by Keith Peacock in his whole career was here at Home Park. It was. I think it was a 5-1 win. He wouldn't stop telling me about it earlier. I'm only joking, Keith. OK, let's get to our commentary team, shall we? Terry Smith and Greg Stubley.